Slug. Why is there slug? And foam. That's a dying slug. What the f? Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is CJ. Welcome back to Exotic Nootropics. Today we have a different video for you. I'm not 100% sure how many videos are on the YouTube channel right now. Maybe 3. Not sure. But this is just going to be repotting a passion fruit plant that came in the post. I've just found a slug in it. So I'm quite happy I decided to do this because we don't want slugs, ever. But yeah, so it's a vining plant, and it's a very vigorous vining plant. It'll put out lots and lots of fruit, even at a small size. Doesn't take long to put out fruit for the plant at all. And this will be the first passion fruit plant that we've got. We've got a few banana trees, so we do have fruiting plants already, but this will be a brand new one, and you won't have to wait so long to have passion fruit, whereas the bananas you have to wait a long time, like a ridiculously long time. They have to get much bigger. So right now what I've done is I've got a black tray which it's currently sitting in. It's turned up in a grey pot and not really full of soil. I don't like the soil consistency. I mean, it's quite, I don't know. I mean, it's very sandy, which is good, but I don't know. There's something about it. I don't like it. So I'm going to change that, and we're going to change the pot as well, because I don't like pots like that, which like bevel out at the top. I don't like that. So the first thing we need to do, obviously, is unpot it, get all the media off it, and all of that. I don't think it's currently raining outside, so I might be able to show you me doing this. But it is very windy, and I don't want to smash this camera, because if I do, I do not have another one. So sensible heads are going to say I'm going to jump cut to a point where it's just the plant. We're going to rinse off all of the media, the pot's going to be gone, and then we're going to be able to start making our custom media. Right, so we've now removed all of the media. The entire plant's been completely washed off. We've got any impurities off it. There'll still be bacteria and things on it because it's not been sprayed with anything other than water. When you're washing off the roots to get all of the soil off, you need to be careful. Try not to kill the roots. Basically keep as many as you can. You can see a nice color change here where the new roots have been growing, so it's a healthy plant, which is great. I'm quite surprised at how long the roots are. So they seem to just go down in a line, which is kind of annoying, because my pots are mostly round so that the plants can spread out, which means this is the only pot that really works for it, which is way too big diameter wise, but when it comes to depth, it's going to be fine. It's a little bit awkward, but that is what it is. Of course, using a pot like this is also going to use an absurd amount of media, which is not ideal because it's not cost effective, but that's one thing we're going to have to deal with because I do not have any other pots for it. But the plant looks very healthy. It's nice and tall. I mean, I don't know if I can show you the whole length of it because of the awkward camera angle. Maybe you'll see it at the end anyway, so it'll be fine. But yeah, so let's get started. So obviously I'm going to make my own mix. I've got all the stuff that I need behind me, which obviously you cannot see. So I'll just start bringing it all over and popping it in. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I've got some bark, which is made by Exoterra, which is for reptiles, but I use it for the bottom of plant pots like this, where you don't have to basically worry too much. You want a bit of drainage, you want it all the media to stay in is the main thing. You just want something at the bottom to keep everything together so it doesn't leak out and go everywhere. So for normal house plants, I use bark, and then for Nepenthes, I use a bit of sphagnum moss at the bottom because I don't put sphagnum in the mix because I don't really like doing that. Then I've got some coco coir, and we've got some horticultural sand, and that's kind of it at the moment. There is some other media that I could add, but I think it'll be fine with this. It's not really going to have any nutrients in the soil, so it just means that the plant will need basically topping up with nutrients quite often, which is not ideal, but I don't have any soil remaining with a bunch of nutrients in it. So let's see if we can swap this plant out and put the substrate up here. Put that there. plant here as well, because I'm going to need to do it over the top. I'm not very careful when I'm doing this stuff, but you know, some people, they take real great care. Others don't so much. Normally those that don't have really the mass amount of time. Okay, so all the plan is, right, is you see these holes in the bottom, we're just gonna plug them with the bark. You can use orchid bark, you can use any type of bark. This is just rainforest bark. I honestly don't know what type of bark it is. It's probably just orchid bark, to be honest with you. It's just called rainforest bark so that they can add a bunch more money to it. Although it was very cheap, so maybe not so much. But this is what I use for a lot of things. It gets everywhere. You can't see what I'm doing right now, but it's fine. I'm just mixing it up so a bunch of it comes out the bottom. I want it to be nice and coarse so that, oof, God, lots of nice freaking dust coming off it, which you can actually see in the pot now. So that's what it looks like right now. It's a hole covering on the bottom, and that's just covering up the holes. So it's an even spreading, and then once you put the media on top, it will compress it down, which will stop it from moving and falling out the bottom, which you're currently seeing right there. Obviously, if you use bigger bark, then it's less of an issue. Let's move this plant, because I'm not going to be able to mix it with the plant there. You can maybe see the size of it there, but I'm just going to throw it in this box. This is what we've got, just the bark and the bottom. And then we're going to compress it with all the other media. But we're going to mix the other media on top of it. So one of my favorite things to use is coco coir. I use it with nepenthes. I use it with basically every plant that I've got right now. It's a nice loose soil. It's made from coconut fiber and it's all mushed up. So it's a renewable thing, you know. Coconuts, they grow, they get ground up, and then it looks like that. It's a nice crumbly, wow, the lighting went mad there. It's a nice crumbly soil to use, nice crumbly media. So we're obviously going to need a lot because this pot is way larger than I wanted it to be, but you know, we deal with these things, no problem. So the idea here is we kind of want about 50-50, to be honest, but I go by the feel, because if it's too sandy, then it's going to be a nightmare to keep water in it, and if it's not sandy enough, it's going to have too much water in it, and it's just going to be a bit of a nightmare. So I'm going to leave that mound of coco coir there, then we're going to add sand, and the sand is always stupidly heavy. So you can see that sand right there. Well, sorry, the lighting's really not great. But yeah, you see the sand now getting mixed in. It's a really nice looking sand actually. But you don't want it to look like this once you've mixed it. If it looks like this, then there's way too much sand in there. I've kind of blocked myself from getting in. So just both hands in and just mix it all up. It's part of the fun of doing this, right? Mix it all up and then see where you get to. One of the challenges here is that it all kind of feels like sand because it's dry media now, so it's all dry. So it's quite hard to figure out what the mix should be, although that feels and looks kind of about right. I mean, you got speckles of sand in there. It's going to hold water quite nicely. Maybe we can add a little bit of bark to this mix. That might be a good idea actually. I am going to add just a tiny bit of bark, just a little bit, just to mix it all up and get a little bit more aeration in there. There is some charcoal actually that I could add, which would be quite good. That would be good. Let's add a bit of charcoal. We don't need much charcoal at all, right? You don't want to go mad with charcoal. It's not a main part of the mix. So that's probably about right for the charcoal, I'm gonna say, for now. We're gonna mix it up and we're gonna see where we're at. And then I guess I'll give you an update as well on my insane mix in a couple of months, and we'll see how well the plant is growing. Because maybe it'll be dead, and this video everyone's going to be like, oh my god, what are you doing? But I highly doubt it. I think this soil mix will be fine for it. I think it'll be pretty damn good. I like mixing in a little bit of charcoal. It helps with aeration. It's got some sort of purifying going on with it as well. Not many people put it in their soil, so I do really like the sandy nature. I do think it's holding a little bit too much. It is. What we're going to do is we're going to wet it a bit, because it's going to be easier to put it in there anyway when it's wet. But we're going to wet it a bit, and we're going to see what sort of consistency we get out of it. What we're going to do is spray down the media, give it a bit of water, see how it clumps up basically. And if it just lets a ton of water through, then we should be good to go. If it's holding everything and it feels like trash and all clumps together, then that's not good. But that looks, even when it's wet, that looks exactly how I'd want it to look. So proper rainforest soil. Oh wow, I could have zoomed in that whole time. Okay, well, where are we? Here. All right, so it's got a little bit of clumping around the edges. I mean, there's a little bit of clumping. I'm gonna introduce a little bit more bark to stop that. Some clumping is fine. Obviously you want it to hold water. You do want some water in it. I just don't quite want that amount. So we just break it up as much as we can. Man, this media's gone a bit more extreme than I was expecting to do. I was expecting just Coca-Cola and some sand and we're all good. Now we got charcoal and we got bloody bark. We'll just start filling up our pot, which is off screen, of course. There we go. Now it's on screen. So we're just going to drop in a bunch to keep the bottom nice and condensed so that we don't lose any of that. And then normally what I do is I just shove it in the side, on one side. There's definitely better ways of doing this, by the way. So definitely, if you've got a better way of doing this, do not copy me. Yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing, let's face it. All right, then we're going to grab the plant, which is very long, super long plant. And we're just going to hold it, put the roots down, and we're going to hold it against the soil that we've put in. And then, you don't want it to fall like it just did. And you just want to basically compact it in like this. I think this is actually going to be enough media, which is nice. I thought it wasn't going to be enough for a while. Ta-da! Right, then we can reposition it in a second. We just wanted it to be mostly on this central portion. And then pat it down. It's fine if it's like a bit too over the thing, because it'll just grow up, it's fine. Right, and then just get this last bit. I hate not using all of the media, so I just use as much of it as we can, because it costs money, so you want to use it all, even though it probably doesn't really matter. I'm just going to wipe a little bit off around the center here, and then we'll give it a good spray and see what happens. Right, well, for one, aesthetically, wow, you didn't see any of that. Oh my gosh, really? I must have moved it. Oh god, hold on, I can't really touch the camera because of my hands. Rah! Jesus, there we go. Right, aesthetically, that's already looking way better. So I will be right back. I've got to wash my hands. They are a mess. Part of the trouble with not having an assistant is that you have to do everything yourself, which means the camera angles go off and then you can't see the damn camera angle because you're doing the thing. Right, so what I've got is a big ass pole right here, which I will show you the whole plant at the end, I swear, so you can actually see. This plant is very, very, very tall. So what we're going to do is we're going to stab our pole all the way down to the bottom so it's nice and stable, and then we're going to clip our plant to it basically. So what I've done is I've stolen the clips that came with it, which were on other poles, which were not as big as these poles. Here's what we're doing. Lighting's gone again. Okay, so here's what we're doing. Right, you see this clip here? Yes, okay. So the clip is barely holding on to the thing, which I'm not very happy about. But we can clip it the opposite way, which would make it better. It should be fine though. So all we're going to do is we're going to open this clip up, because this is still a delicate plant. It's only a small thing. See, it clipped off. It is only a delicate plant, so I'm going to clip it there, and then we're going to clip it up here as well. Right, let's get you off this stupid tripod, and we'll show you the whole plant, and you'll be able to actually see everything that was done. So, bam. Okay, what have we got here? Ooh. Sorry, it stopped itself from recording there. Right, so this is what we've got. Plant all the way up here, really tall plant, going straight down, a bamboo cane, all the way down, really aesthetically pleasing now, into a pot which is probably a bit too big for it, to be honest. The roots are not massive, but this is now what we've got. So it's a really nice mixture. We've got charcoal in there, we've got bark in there, we've got cocoa coir, we've got sand, and that's it. I would have liked to put perlite in. If you do have perlite, put perlite in. It's a much better idea. Add some drainage. But that is a beautiful plant which should now grow even better than it has been. I will update you guys at some point in the next couple of months so that you can see whether this media actually worked or not, or if I'm completely insane. So yeah, that was repotting a passion fruit plant. I will keep you updated on it and all the other plants. My name has been CJ. Apologies for the terrible camera work. I am but one person with not much space right now. Eventually you will see me with a table doing everything, so the camera won't have to be moved, but that is going to take a couple of months. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Exotic Nootropics. We'll see you in the next one.